Hello, beautiful people. Today I'm reacting to Psychopathic Hunting Habits of Satan's Favorite Bird by Casual Geographic. Subscribe and let's get this shit going.
That's what I said. Slick back.
He's
You
doing
seen
the
this
gritty.
nest? You want to know what built this nest? You don't want to know what built this nest. You want to know what made these bones? You don't want to know what made these.
Holy shit, he's big.
This bird's a buckbeak coated me to my mental stability. The harpy eagle's a homicidal hippogriff with the jungle census on its hit list. And a big reason is harpies having the largest claws of any bird. Not only do they have vice grip talons that could comfortably dap up a grizzly bear's paws, they say getting gripped by them is like getting caught in a Rottweiler's jaws. They're the national bird of Panama, but you finna be pantomiming once this Jurassic reject takes your breath by crushing your windpipe. But by far the most out-of-pocket thing is what nature went ahead and did with their wings. Unlike most birds its size, harpy eagles have relatively short wings. I'm talking about if eagles were the NBA, this would be their build. But the short wings just means this life unsubscription service can duck and weave through the dense jungle to catch a body. Which also means there are very few things alive in the Amazon that a hunting harpy can't pack up, from monkeys and sloths, to armadillos, snakes, and porcupines, to other predators like ocelots and foxes. They'll also body other birds like parrots, and they'll even murk other raptors like vultures. But then, what even is a raptor? The answer might just surprise you. Raptors are what most people might call birds of prey, which is already a problem because there's plenty of other birds that'll have
Dad, I'm running for its life.
prey. So the raptor title gets gatekept to the birds with all three: a sharp hooked beak, a Jurassic style pedicure and talons, and an OP sense of sight. So without a hooked beak but webbed feet, the demonic garbage chute misses the cut. Chronic Crash Out the Canada Goose doesn't sit at the raptor lunch table because if it did, it probably would have seen that coming. But the whole raptor thing's a pain in the prostate, and it's because raptors, they're basically cats that can fly. You remember the cat video I made and how insanely convoluted the names got? Like how a black panther isn't actually an animal, a cat called a panther isn't actually a panther, a snow leopard is genetically
Gotta
close to a
check
tiger,
this one
and how a
someday.
cougar pushing 220 ain't a big cat, but a cat barely a buck 10 is. Raptors are low-key the same, where the name raptor doesn't describe a family reunion, but like Black Panther, raptor is more like a description. But I'm gonna get to that. Now, the other problem with raptors is that nature basically bamboozled them. Of course, the ability to fly is broken, but it comes with hollow bones. Now, hollow bones aren't to keep the bird light enough for flight. It's more that pneumatic bones are filled with air and so give extra oxygen to fuel their flight. But it also means a broken
Bro got a gas tank in its bones. But wouldn't hollow bones mean they're easier to break?
bone is a career-ending injury for an avian, and as hunters, they run the risk of getting folded by their own prey. The compromise is, raptors have some of the most heinously creative ways of confiscating consciousness, revoking your existence. Whatever you want to call it, the bird of prey hunting strat is straight out of the pages of a
Did he just throw a stick at him?
mob boss's torture diary. And we can start with the secretary bird, aka Jurassic Park in yoga pants.
It looks like got a eating disorder or some shit.
It's named after the fact that, like a secretary, they'll connect you to the big boss upstairs if you give them the chance. They cancel prey by kicking them in the head until they flatline or just lie flat, and their usual targets are snakes. The combo of delivering multiple kicks in the time it takes to blink, and how disrespectfully accurate they are, all adds up to a 6-piece serpent assault where they spam a river dance on a snake's skull until it caves in, leaving the snake out of order like a reptile dysfunction. You gotta hand it to them. That's pretty metal. Actually, you should do the opposite, since the Kung Fu crane can apparently shatter the bones in a human hand. And it's not just snakes. Secretaries will go after things like cheetah cubs and baby gazelle. I think now is a good time to mention they can be an honest 4 feet tall, with a thigh gap no less. As you can see, they're liable to violate snakes and beauty standards, all while being one of the few birds with 2 pairs of wings, no Red Bull. This high-stepping battery charges with all the smoke, literally, because they'll gather around brush fires just for the opportunity to murk any small animal running for its life. Don't let the pretty privilege distract you. It's an African assassin chicken in thigh boots dressed like a recently divorced mother of 3. And they're not the only ones, because I'll be honest, I low-key forgot this bird existed. This is a Seriama. It's basically a Latin secretary bird, but the real family tree flex is they're
Looks like it got makeup on or something.
the only living relatives of terror birds. Yes, those terror birds. They might be less vertically gifted at less than 2 feet tall, but instead of kicking, Seriamas rather body slam their prey to death. The dinosaur time forgot will grab prey and slam them into the ground or against a rock repeatedly. They'll spam suplex as many times as it takes for the bones to break. And if you're too big for all that, they'll use the same sickle claw their prehistoric cousins used to hold down prey and disembowel it alive. So if you get targeted by a Sariyama, you'll either get the Hulk to Loki treatment, except from a travel-sized terror turkey, eviscerated and violated while pinned by a weaponized toenail, or just swallowed clean like a Vorophile's wet dream. So far, we have a curb-stomping aggro bird and a mob boss build and terror bird final form. And we're just getting started. This is a kite, and before you ask, this was named after the bird, not the other way around. A kite is like the forgotten little brother of eagles and hawks, and like a kite, they catch bodies by hovering above the ground and waiting for movement so they can swoop down and snatch it. I believe kiting is the expression. They're pretty cool. They grief many of the insects that make life slightly less worth living. The 17-year cicada parade is basically their Super Bowl. Like the secretary bird, they too will gather around grass fires, and any animal trying to run from the smoke gets ironically cooked. But Australian black kites take it a step felony by carrying burning twigs and dropping them on patches of grass. An act of
This bird is a fucking arsonist.
avian arson that got them another name. Firehawks. Apparently this is nothing new, with records of them stealing brands from indigenous cooking fires and dropping them half a mile away. There have even been scientific records of them dropping bread into water to bait small fish, and if it wasn't for this clip, I probably wouldn't believe it. You think an aerial
What the fuck? He baited him so hard.
dropping inferno in a country that has up to 60,000 wildfires a year would immediately get blacklisted. But no, black kites are protected because once again, of course a felon with wings is above the law. They're also banned in Boston, but only because we all know Boston can't stand the heat. Now I have a whole video on owls, so I'm not going to talk too much about them. But this is the start of what I was talking about, because you'd normally expect a raptor to be related to other raptors. Instead, the owl's closest relative looks like a Muppet flashlight. Flashlight? What does that? Oh! I can't say that. Owls are predators on incognito, thanks to feathers that allow them to fly almost completely silently.
Oh yeah, I know that. That has special wings or some shit that allows them to not make noise while they fly.
Again, you don't realize how unsettling that is till you go to bed a family and wake up a single mother. They also have a satellite dish for a face and uneven ears, so even under a foot of snow, they can hear exactly where you're about to go. Owls are 100% the closest thing to cryptids with wings, and while they haven't murked people, allegedly, there's plenty of predators that do feed off unsuspecting humans, just like you, including arguably the worst predator of all, data brokers. There's a lot of data brokers that feed
Alright, skip the ad.
and use the code CasualGeo for 60% off an annual plan to guard your private data. Because believe me, if you knew some of the places your info is right now, your head would spin. Kinda like, wait for it. Yeah, there
Hey yo, what the f... That dude...
it is. That's what it looks like to get folded by a falcon. You see, falcons are cool, but they're weaker than eagles and hawks, so instead they commit to the fastest hitting runs on Earth.
Bro, it's fast as fuck.
Literally, the fastest. So falcons like the peregrine will start up high and dive, that's called the stoop, and once the flying derecho hits triple-digit miles per hour, they'll ball up their feet like a fist. So yeah, they really do
Falcon punch.
in the past tense. Didn't even give them time to duck. Not only that, but falcons also have a toenail tooth made specifically to snap spinal cords and send prey to the Lord like Sunday service, all while flying. The one-shot specialist has been known to snipe bald and golden eagles threatening their nest, and there was one
Come on, dude. It's half your size. How did you let him beat your ass?
time a snowy owl murked a falcon fledgling, so the mother falcon went and life-deprived the owl. In a lot of ways, falcons are built for speed, but the biggest flex is that they have the fastest processing speed of any animal alive. Compared to us, they see the world in slow motion. Falcons are dope, but because of them, we have to address the whole raptor thing again. Because instead of hawks, eagles, or any other bird of prey, the missile with wings is most related to parrots. So again, raptor isn't a family name, most of them aren't even closely related. But there are a lot of falcons, like the American kestrel. I like them because they're pretty. Small. The colorway ain't bad either.
They are
also
pretty.
factory reset prey by stabbing them in the back of the head with that tooth, but you can't deny this psychopath's
Give him factory reset.
cute. The black-thighed falconet is the smallest bird of prey in the weight class of a sparrow, yet they also find a way to pack up other birds. The pygmy falcon is a nest pirate that often shacks up in the homes of weaver birds. Normally it's a good gig with the pygmies clearing out snakes and lizards, but sometimes they'll switch up and kill their weaver bird roommates, so there's that. But there's another falcon that might just be the biggest bird off of all, and it might also be the most underrated. That's
Cool.
the bad is the caracara. The caracara is a black Air Force parrot. Unlike every other falcon, they'd rather handle business on the ground. They live on honey badger timings, since they'll pull up to a carcass and bully bigger vultures out the way. The crested caracara is a special kind of klepto. They'll straight up mob other birds like pelicans and press them into vomiting their lunch so they can have it. Straight
Ew, what the f... They already ate it, dude. Ew. shit.
Caracaras in the Falklands are a Pennywise level threat to minor safety. You know, raptor comes from the Latin word to seize or take by force. That's what this avian Amber Alert lives by. Caracaras will also link up with each other and form gangs and have honest-to-God turf wars. Even back in the day, they were on Darwin's radar. In 1830, he mentioned how curious they were, but also how annoying it was to live around a bird that'll steal anything that isn't nailed down. Turns out this affiliated delinquent of a bird is low-key the gifted student of the raptor class, and is even smart enough to solve puzzles for fun. Basically, Caracaras are if the peregrine falcon and the secretary bird had a baby, but it was adopted and raised by crows and tutored by the key on weekends. Just an overall underrated menace of a dinosaur, but also a hyper-intelligent, talented opportunist. Actually, I take that back. Vultures might be the most underrated. People assume something with the feeding habits of a casket is a pushover, and they do get their cookies taken by other raptors. But vultures very much can be about that life too, especially since black vultures often won't wait for an animal to expire. They'll put weak, sick, or young animals on a shirt. Some farmers know all too well. Sometimes they'll wait for a cow to give birth just to jump the newborn and return to sender. Sometimes they won't even wait, and they'll move on a cow in labor and act like the world's most malicious midwives. Getting violated by vultures means eyes gouged out, tongue torn off, and they'll even break through the back door. Basically, the booty
They what?
warrior of birds, but unlike boondocks, this one's protected by law. From a surgical psychopath to a scavenger. Yet a bearded vulture eats almost nothing but bones, and they've even been known to swallow ones nearly a foot long. But once in a while, they'll go after the living, sometimes in the form of airdropping a tortoise hundreds of feet to feed on the insides like a piñata. You know, mountain climbers were so spiritually disturbed by the beardy, they called it the bird of Satan. To be fair, they have a sclera ring around their eyes that fills with blood when stressed and makes their eyes turn bloodshot when running a fade. The Grim Reaper's War King with a whole showering gun activated. I don't blame him, that is demonic character design. Also, a bearded vulture allegedly murked a man with a turtle shell to the head like Mario Kart, which sounds
No shit. Bro threw a red shell at him.
fake, but keep in mind, there's a woman walking around with scars from breaking a porcupine's fall. RNG can be a real ass. All that, and you still can't show me a bird with the harpy eagle's aura. We already mentioned a life-canceling claws that could probably crush your skull, which is why harpy eagles have a prey list of over 116 species. And that includes putting other raptors like seriamas and vultures on shirts. Don't think for one second nature came out with this and stopped there. The African crowned eagle is basically the harpy of the month. Don't think for one second nature species.
Look at his face, he was like, oh shit.
And stop there. The African crowned seriamas and vultures on shirts. Don't think for one second nature came out with
He was like, oh shit, gotta dip.
this and stop there. The African crowned eagle is basically the harpy of the motherland. Same survival revoking claws, and same short wings to make it a menace to monkey kind. And they're the only raptor to allegedly see people as prey, with reports of human child remains in nests and the infamous tongue child believed to have been packed up by an African crown. Honestly, any continent outside of penguin land has at least one of these eagles. Australian wedgetails go after kangaroos and dingoes, and they're territorial enough to fade $1,000 drone on sight. There was one time a wedgie fought a helicopter and won, past tensing a pilot in the process. Alright,
No shit.
the North American
They're taking them helicopters now. Come on.
golden eagle has a hit list of prey in the 400s. But really their claim to fame is how they'll give goats a first-class flight to the gulag with no return trip. I'm sorry, this is so disrespectful. Look at this animation. He gave him an NPC death, gave him nothing but time to reflect. The Philippine eagle, which honestly mogs the out of everyone for no reason. But there might not be a bigger flex than the stellar sea eagle. You know, if this wasn't on camera, nobody'd ever believe you. It's one of the heaviest eagles on Earth with an 8-foot wingspan. It's an oppressive force in Featherface that's apparently been seen carting off seals. Clearly the meteor told him to take a sick day, cause dog, you're not telling me that's not a dinosaur. And low-key, they might go the same way. For all the harpy hate I was talking, there's no recorded case of a harpy eagle killing or even attacking a human. In fact, it's them not being afraid of humans that can get them put on a shirt by poachers. Add habitat destruction, and if raptors like them aren't endangered, they're at least in danger of being endangered. Which is why you got places like the Raptor Trust in Millington, New Jersey, looking after all kinds of birds from Ollie the kestrel
That's wholesome,
to
man.
Virgil the turkey vulture. They got couples too, like Mariah and Thor the golden eagles. They're mad cute together. And of course, a symbol of America, Colonel and Uno. Uno because of the whole one wing thing. And even though they're technically not raptors, I even met Ray the Raven. You know what's crazy? He's in a cage, and he's in a relationship with another wild raven. Like, he'll even sneak food between the bars of his cage for her. You know what's crazier? His girl has a whole nother family in the wild. I usually don't rock with homewreckers, but I'm rocking with Ray. Like I said, my favorites were definitely the owls, especially this barred owl named Sunny. I think he liked me. Although the vulture's gotta be a close second, since they'll literally walk up and follow you around like a puppy. Oh, this isn't sponsored, by the way. I just had a good time and wanted to shout them out. So if you're ever in the area, the Raptor Trust in Millington, New Jersey, 100% recommended. But that's gonna do it for this video.
Alright, folks, that was all, and until the next time.